Hello, welcome to episode 13. I don't believe in that kind of luck, so episode 13, it's all gonna go smoothly. Welcome to episode 13 of the Brew from the Bothy podcast. I hope you're all so well. Yeah, it's mid-August. I can't quite believe we're in mid-August already. So let's crack into episode 40th. Episode 13. Come on, Fay. Get it together. First things first, apologies. If you listen with headphones, I didn't realise that you can hear me slurping every time I take a sip. So I'm going to attempt to always warn you, and I'm going to, but also maybe try and do it off microphone. Let's test. Hopefully you can't hear that, because that must be such a disgusting sensation to have somebody like slurping your headphones. So hopefully that is done. I know a few episodes ago I had jangly jewellery on and I've sorted that out. So I'm always open to feedback on that front, because I don't want you to have a horrible experience when you watch or listen to this podcast. I want you to enjoy it and enjoy my dulcet tones and not me slurping coffee or water. So I will attempt to do that off microphone and not make like nom nom noises. Right, what do I have for you today? It's been a bit hectic, to be honest, and not, yes, with work stuff, but also with non-work stuff. I feel like I've spent quite a lot of time on the motorway network of England at the moment. I've literally been almost to the very north of England, and on Monday and Tuesday I came back up yesterday. I've been down to the very south coast as well. So we currently have our best friends, 2 boys, with us for the week to allow their parents to have a bit of respite as they get ready for holiday and to move house. So Matthew is busy in the living room introducing them to Zelda for the Switch, which, you know, they're both very much enjoying. So they're lovely and peaceful and quiet and happy in the house, and I get to come and record this and spend a bit of time with you and get this up and ready and edited. So I've just been on the motorway a lot. I saw my mum up in Cumbria. She was up there on holiday, so my niece and I went up for the day, not even the day, for a few hours. Went and took her to, there's a beautiful stone circle up at Keswick called Castlereagh, which is, it's beautiful. I will always take the time out to go to Castlereagh if I can, and sometimes you pitch it just right and there's either nobody else there or very few people, and it's a landscape that really hasn't changed a lot for thousands of years. It's beautiful, and it really grounds you and pulls you back to what has been before, and I love that sensation of history and almost realising that you're nothing, like you're a blip on the timeline, not even a blip, and that time is fleeting and so much has gone before and so much will go after. I really love that sensation. So we went and did that, took a lovely picnic with some homemade food for my mum and her friend, and had a nice time. And then, like I say, Monday drove down south, then I drove north again with 2 boys, and now we have, after I've recorded, we have a week of adventure and doing amazing things with the boys. One is a cob, one is a scout. We're going to take them up onto the Roaches tonight, which is quite a high promontory up in the Peak District, and we're going to cook hot dogs up there and watch the sunset and just do some really cool things that don't cost money but are really good life experiences. So that's what we're trying to do this week with them, and just have a bit of fun and get out the house a lot. So because I've been on the motorway network and doing so much, I haven't got as much crochet and knitting time in it as I would love, but I still have quite a lot to show you. So let's start with something that is long off my hooks, which was my strata blanket, and I promised to show you it because I picked it up from Jenny's house, and this is a very well loved blanket. Now what I'm showing up is a corner that I have just used my gleaner on. I always use a gleaner for dealing with woolens, for dealing with pills and baubles, because it just works. So I tried I want to say the softest head, soft isn't the right word, the least rough head on it. It comes with 3 different heads that you can change, and I think what I need to do is try the coarser head on it to see if that lifts it up more quickly. But it only maybe took a minute for me to glean about maybe a 30 square centimetre piece of it, and it's massively better. And this is how much fuzz came off of it. This is a roving yarn, which by and large will pill quite a lot, and you'll see it when I pull this blanket out, just how bad it is. Look at the state of this. But this has had 4 years worth of rough love from 2 boys. This is their favourite blanket. They absolutely love it, and I wanted to show you to show what this yarn will do after 4 years. Now, originally when I spoke about this, I thought I had real issues because it had massive holes in it, and my concern was that it was the yarn itself, because it was a roving, had pulled apart. So I wanted to bring this north with me so I could have a proper look. And I think what I'm going to do is actually do a review of this yarn and a roving yarn, because that isn't what happened, and I was really building this up in my mind that I didn't want to use roving yarn for anything else. I was having second guesses about putting this pattern out under my own name because it was previously done for a magazine. But actually, when I looked at the hole that I developed, and let me find it for you, because it is a mighty, mighty hole. Like, I can fit my fist through it. I honestly think it's just because 2 little boys have poked their feet through it. I think they have created a weakness in the yarn that wasn't really there. And so I'm just going to clean up this blanket by gleaning it. And I'm going to fix this little hole. What I found in Jenny's stash is something that was quite close to the original yarn. It's a little bit darker. Those boys will not care. They just love this blanket. So I'm going to use this roving yarn to fix this purple hole here and make sure that their blanket has longevity. Let me just pull back and see if there are any other holes so I can really inspect it. I can't see anymore. I think that's like the worst. That's the one. But you can see how badly this has pilled. But again, this is over 4 years. That might be a cat claw that's in there as well that I can see. Where is it? Yeah, that looks like a cat claw. So this is a well-loved blanket. And now that I assess it 4 years in, I actually think it's held up really well. There's just that one hole. It's probably started with one big toe poking through and continuing to poking through. And that's what's created the issue, and then the stitches have unravelled. So I've gone from feeling quite downcast about this yarn to actually thinking it's really quite hard wearing. And I now have got no issues about putting this pattern out in its own rights. But I think what I'll do is take some photos over the coming days while I've got the boys here, because this has to now head back down south with them, because it's very clear that they're not allowed to live without it. I was going to compost it, but I now see that that's a step too far. So I'm going to clean it up, take photos before and after, show you how I am dealing with this hole and how I'm going to fix it, and I'll use all of this as part of the review for the yarn that I can then talk about when I release the pattern as well. Jenny's going to be so pleased when she gets this blanket back. This is why we're best friends, really, because she loves these 2 colours, the purple and the pink. She'd prefer it if the pink was a little bit brighter. I love the dirty, dirty orange. And so we never clash on colours in terms of if we're shopping together, we're never looking at the same stuff. And what this does, why she really hates this blanket, is because it sheds so much, the 3 colours combine to create a brownish colour, and it leaves fluff all over her carpet, and she says that I'm always leaving like poo fluff on her carpet, which I find hilarious, and I love that my crochet can continue to have such an impact on her life. So I will do a review in the coming couple of weeks and make sure I get lots of photos in, and I suspect that would work for other roving yarns as well, that would have maybe been slightly poo-pooish about them. I think where the West Yorkshire Spinners Retreat Roan really works well is that it's got Kerry Hill in it, a British breed, which is really quite hard wearing, and I think there's a toothiness to it, so it's not slippy like merino. I personally would never use a merino roving yarn for something like that, because it will pill, and I don't think it's going to have the same structural integrity. The pilling I can deal with, but yeah, I feel in a totally different space about that blanket, which is good. Moving back to Slurp. So, what else is off my hooks? I want to share with you a design that has just come out, but it's one that I've done for the latest version of the John Arbon annual, which is issue 5. So what I'm showing you up is issue 3, just to show you what the annual looks like. This is an issue that both myself and Rosina had a crochet design in, and there were knitting designs in there. But just to show you, it's really, when I say an annual, it's like a book in its own right, and it isn't just with patterns. It also has puzzles and little in-depth interviews, and they talk about how the mill works. This one had an interview with Marie Wallen in it. It's just a really beautiful publication, and issue number 5 has just gone live for pre-sale. It went live on Friday, I think the 15th. So I'm going to provide links in case you want to have a look. Now, I don't have the sample, so I'm going to pop some photos up to show you what my pattern is for issue number 5. They're called the Brixham Mitts, and they are a pair of mittens. I use waistcoat stitch to do the colour work, and they have waves in them. So the whole publication for number 5 is based on the seaside, like the Devon seaside, because the mill is down in Devon on the south coast of England, and it's an area that my dad's family came from. So my last name, my maiden name is Dashper, which is an anglicisation. Is that the right word? It was anglicised from Norman, so north of France, and it used to be Duspar, and it got anglicised to Dashper, and so the area of Brixham and that part of Devon is where my historical family came in, landed, and spread, and now there are a few Dashpers around the world and a few in the UK, but not many. It's a really it's quite a rare name. And in Brixham there was a Dashper house. There's still Dashper's Lane, so they were quite a prominent family for that area, and that area means a lot to me. So I was really pleased to do a set of mittens that were reminiscent of that side of my family, of the people that had come before, and to do something that is seaside themed. Yesterday, before I came back up the road with the boys, we went to the beach, just because the beach really tops me up. I know for some people it's forests, for Matthew it's mountains. When I get to the sea, it doesn't even have to be a beach, it just has to be the sea. It just is like waves of energy coming over me. I absolutely love it. So I got a little top up yesterday, which was great, but it felt really nice to be part of a publication that had elements of my history and also seaside themes to it as well. So I'll pop photos up of that and the annual front cover, and I'll pop links into the drop down box. Now, I just quickly wrote down so I didn't get this wrong, but it has my crocheted mittens in it. I should say that they are crocheted, waistcoat stitch, and again I'll put the links for how to do waistcoat stitch, because again I probably haven't convinced all of you yet, but take a look at waistcoat stitch and how to do it, and go and have a look at my top tips blog and video, because it's way easier than you think it is. And the annual also has got a hat, which is really cool. It's done like an inverted waffle cone. That's one of Helena's patterns, knitted. Then there's a knitted wrap, which is by, I think, Lola Johnson from Third Vault Yarns. There are a couple of shawls in there, one of them which is like a parasol shawl, that's by Laura Penrose. There's another shawl in there which is striped, and I'm sorry I can't remember the designer for that one. There's also a really funky garter stitch striped top, which you could just do out of scrap yarn. And then there's also, you may have come across her work before, Cynthia Valley who did the Moosh and Friends book with all the little knitted critters. In the annual, she's done a water vole, which is possibly the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And the water vole is called Benjamin, and Benjamin also has a little sibling and a grandma, and they Cynthia's designed like little Victorian bathing suits to go on them and a yellow mac, so it isn't just the water vole, they've got outfit changes that you can do as well. Honestly, it is the cutest thing. So that's all in there, and then there are puzzles and there's all sorts. It's just a really beautiful publication, more quirky than your standard publications because it's John Arbon Textiles, and quirky is what they do, like really good quality quirky. So go and have a look at that. Drop down is there for you if you want to see. What else do we have? Also off my needles, let's have a little stretch over here. We have got a finished, I said I wouldn't show it again, but I just want to because it's so beautiful. I finished my popper knot shawl. You've got all the details for this. You know it's Irish Artisan Yarns. The bit that I really want to show off is how well the pops worked coming out of blocking. They didn't kind of fall back at all, which sometimes it can. They can flatten off. And how well the knot side worked. I just love the subtlety of this. It looks like, in the pattern I think I described it as little strings of butterflies. I love both sides, and I've just finished it off. This is the bit I really want to show you. I have this edging that I designed and created, which essentially looks like a knitted I-cord, and you can apply this to knitting very easily. And it is a row of double crochet and then a joined row of double slip stitch. And when you do double slip stitch on the wrong side, it presents this V on the right side, but it also creates like a rolled V on the top and coming round to the wrong side as well. So it's like having an I-cord bind off. It's kind of a little bit chunky, but it's a really nicely finessed, elegant way of finishing off a shawl. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And because I could work out how much yarn I'd used for 100 grams, I've also written the pattern for 200 grams. So if you want a bigger shawl, you can do a bigger shawl, but this one just is enough that you can do it kind of like as a standard little shawl. You can do it round like a kerchief, but it's a bit more substantial than like a little neckerchief. Or you can do it tied from the back and around on the front, more like a kerchief. So it's quite a nice little light, versatile piece. This is coming out shortly, but I particularly just kind of wanted to show off that rolled edge because it is gorgeous. I use this a lot in my designs just because if it isn't broken, don't try and fix it. And it adds a level of finesse I really like. And I quite often use it on knitted garments as well. So if they say to do an I-cord bind off, I might just default to this because it's so much quicker. I'm going to take a sip of water and hopefully you can't hear me. Right, what else do I have for you? Let me consult my notes. Knitting. Let's have a look at my Knox top. I really wanted to have this finished for this week. One of the things with having a podcast is you can apply quite a lot of pressure to yourself to show new things. And I've done this and I've done this. And that's where I got to with the old podcast, with the Crochet Circle podcast. And I don't want to be in that space here. I don't think you come to see me fighting through what would to me would be an unrealistic amount of stuff, and that you're happy for me to just present where I'm at with stuff and not put myself under pressure. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Let's show you where I'm at, because I'm very close to finishing. I think I finished the main body, and I have sorted one of the sleeves, and it actually fits. But let me talk you through how I made this work for me, because last time round I was telling you how I'd completely duffed up the numbers, and let me talk you through how I sorted that out. So I was meant to knit a size 7, and I somehow lost my mind and went up. Sorry, I was meant to knit a size 5, I lost my mind and moved up to a size 7. But it's okay. And the reason it's okay is because what I did was measured my... Let me stand up and show you this so you know exactly. I measured my full bust, which, without being too graphic, is perfectly at the middle of my bust, basically where my nipples are. So my full bust is from there all the way around my back, and I worked out what my bust measurement was and what the size was on the size 7 that I'd created when I got to that point. So what I realised from that was that I had unblocked 5 centimetres of positive ease. So if I had 5 centimetres of positive ease coming off of my full bust, that would give me a tent structure because of the way that I am. That would give me a tent just falling straight off my full bust. I didn't want that. So what I did instead, I've created decreases on the inside, which I can show you here. I did short, sharp decreases every other row and worked out what my, come on, if I get this right, there we go. I worked out what my under bust would be, so directly underneath my chest, what that measurement is and what that would look like with 5 centimetres of positive ease as well. So that allowed me to do short, sharp decreases for what is essentially half of my boob height. That's the way that I work it out. So if I go from full bust to under bust, then that's half my boob height, and that's how quickly my decreases needed to happen with 5 centimetres positive ease. And what that has created is a proportioned fitted top coming right the way through to my waist that I'm really happy with. Okay, so I'm going to try this on so I can show you how it looks. One of my concerns with this, because of the sizing that I'd created, was that this was the armhole depth, and what I didn't want is to have loads of side boob going on. So when I bound off the left hand side, although the whole body was made with a 3mm needle, I did a 4-stitch I-cord edge bind off, but I went down to a 2.75mm needle just to pull it in a little bit. The I-cord will do that anyway because you're also creating extra material up on the shoulder here and coming up this way, so it will naturally pull it in a little bit. But I'm going to pop this on so you can see the difference between non-bound off and the bound off edges and what a difference it's made with that I-cord. So I also put it on with this rust coloured top that I've got on. Is from Zara, so obviously their sizing is whack. This is a Zara large, and this is about as far up as I like a sleeveless top to be. That's borderline getting uncomfortable for me for being right up in my oxters. So I use this almost as a measurement top for how I want my knitwear to be. And I'm really happy with the length of it. But you can see how squiffy it is from my non-bound off edge to my bind off edge, and how much extra material you get with the bind off. I haven't done anything with the neckline yet, but the bind off really extends it out. So if I didn't bind off more tightly, that's quite a lot of side boob going on, and that's a lot of lacking material here that I like. That's in the danger zone. That is bra showing. So my bra is here, that's everything on show, but by comparison nothing is showing, and here it is on the side. So we're slightly lower than the top, which is right in my comfort zone, so it's actually a really decent fit. And I haven't yet blocked it, but I'm not going to block this. I'm not going to try change the width of it or the length of it, this is a really decent length for me. I love this line here that I'm getting. I think this is going to be very wearable. The ease is good. Now the pattern called for 0% ease, so it's meant to be properly just fitted to your body, but I'm actually really happy with the 5 centimeters ease that I've got. And you can see how these decreases, there's my underbust, there's my decrease zone from there, so those decreases have worked really nicely. And by the time I do the bind off on this side as well, I'm going to have a really nicely fitted top. Now what I would say is one of the changes that I will also make is the neckline has got nowhere near the amount of depth to it that the armholes have. So when I come to do the neckline, I'm not going to move down to a 2.75 needle. I'll stick to the 3 because I don't want that to come. I'm not a fan of tight tops being right up here. So I'll do a bit more there. And I also did start the bind off. Oh crap, my thing's come undone. I'll fix that later. I did start the bind off, and I was doing a 2x2 Italian tubular sewn bind off. My brain was not in it, so I need to come back and finish that off. But now that I've just ripped this off my needles, I'm gonna have to do something with this anyway, because I've literally, let me show you, just opened up a load of my ribbing stitches. Never mind. The beauty of this yarn is that it's really toothy, and this will be really easy to pick those stitches back up, so I'm not concerned about that. This yarn, however, is going to block out beautifully and be really nice and soft. I got 200 gram hanks of this a few years back, and they were £15 for the 2 hanks. I've just measured this ball, and I have got 50 grams left of my first 200 gram hank, so that means that that top is going to be about 150 grams. Now when I work that out, I got 200 grams for £15, so £7.50 for 200 grams of British wool. The amount that I've used for the top means that this top has cost me about £5.50. British wool can be affordable, you just need to go and look for it. It's not defined what the breeds are, it's going to be a mishmash, most likely. They're using stuff up, that's why it's affordable. I don't care, this is going to soften beautifully, it's going to bloom. £5.50 for a British wool top, and a lot of knitting and a lot of finagling because I kept on getting it wrong. I don't really care about that, all is good. Right, I feel like I've whizzed through that because I have, but I think that's everything that I've got to show you. Next time round I will have a finished Knox top and I will be wearing it with no side boob, yay, and I will have started another knitted jumper that I will tell you about then. I've already swatched for it and I'm ready to use some scrappy yarn bits in it and start on my next knitting project. And I've got so many crochet commissions that I'm slightly concerned that I'm just going to be bedded under crochet commissions from now until the end of the year, but that's fine, that's what I do for a living, I'll survive. Right, I need to go and get ready to take 2 little boys out for a bit of a day adventure up to a castle which has got Taskmaster events in it, which sounds like a lot of fun. If you know Taskmaster, the TV series, that's what they're doing at English Heritage this summer. They've got loads of stuff going on where you choose your own Taskmaster adventures, so we're going to go and do that. Right, until 2 weeks time, have a really good one everybody. I am waving, thank you.